rise and shine. It's early. It is early. Out the door at 6:30 or so. That's what I'm talking about. I sort of wish the sun was rising that way. That would look pretty cool. But what are you gonna do? I gotta travel west to head over to the gym. But this morning, got my pre together, slammed a little pre-workout meal because I don't want to. Sometimes it depends. I honestly don't, at least recently, I haven't been minding a fasted workout, depending on what the workout is. A fasted leg day, not very fun. Especially fasted quads, that's not going to work. I got to eat something beforehand. But arms or back, even chest, sometimes I haven't been minding. Right? I make sure my regular calorie intake is good throughout the day, but I feel like I'm not missing out so much, especially when I'm dieting down, or just trying to maintain a leaner build. Plus, if you ever do a fasted workout and you're at least well fed from the night previous, when you pose down, you get an empty stomach and you look like a freak because your waist is smaller than normal. You're not full of a million grams of carbs and ground beef and whatever. But made some cream of rice, 1 scoop of, I think it was the Honey Nut cereal, raw cream of rice, and depending on how you feel about it, some guys, when they hear cream of rice, they're like, dude, why wouldn't you just eat regular ass rice? Right? But there is one flavor I'm really waiting for. I just got approved from, I don't think I was. Actually, I might have been the last guy to check off the box on this flavor, and then they sent it through to actually get finalized. But there's one coming, which I am a very big fan of. So as soon as that launches, I'll be hyping that one up. That one, sometimes I want to add some blueberries, some brown sugar. This one in particular doesn't need anything at all. But 1 scoop, 25 grams of carbs, 15 grams of carbs worth of brown sugar, partially because I like it, partially because a few extra carbs is all right pre-workout, especially a couple of simple sugars, and then a little bit of blueberries to cool the whole thing off. So that's one, before I get into what I'm about to say, that's one little cream of rice trick. When it comes out of the microwave, or if you make it on the pot or whatever, the shit's steaming hot. You can't eat it. You gotta wait a minute. But if you add some frozen fruit on top immediately after you're cooking it, the fruit thaws, cools it down, and then it's actually edible. You don't have to sit here, burning your tongue off. But what I was just kind of thinking about was, kind of yesterday I was getting into how many people kind of slow down middle of the year, summertime, dog days. January, we're locked in. January is the beginning of the year, the beginning of the week in that little reference. And by Halloween, Thanksgiving, if you're out of the swing of things, you're not going to just jump back into it November 1st. That's probably it, and then somebody's going to wait until January 1st to repeat the loop again. And then, time, it kind of flows. It feels very unending. But, let's be real here, not to get morbid. You only get so many years, So if you've got the ability, if you have the potential to get after it in some way or another, and then you don't, fuck, man, it just sucks, right? What if, I guess I wouldn't know. I guess I imagine however many years ago, June 16th, 2026, started working out about 8 years ago. So that was, I don't know, June or something. I gotta go back and find, the first confirmed photo of me in the gym as a youngin', but it's been about 8 years. So, holy crap. If I never started working out, if I didn't get into the gym when I had, and, or maybe I did, but then I said, this is hard. This hurts. I don't like being sore. That's an alternate universe, Sam, because I can't even me saying that, I can't even relate to it. But if that were the case, I wouldn't fucking know what I was missing. I would have no earthly idea how cool all this shit would have became if I didn't get into it, So that's part of the, I guess that's sort of just part of the deal, right? You never know how good you could have become. Now, if feel like that's a quote that I am kind of quoting. I mean, is that a Steve Jobs types? I don't know. Well, either way, right? You never know. This shit could go freaking crazy, and it could be the best move of your life that first time that you go into the gym, or that you bring one of your buddies into the gym with you, and you tell them, hey man, let's hit arms. Right, come with me. I'll show you the ropes. Let me see. Let's see what we're doing here. Or maybe you are in I guess if you're watching this video, you're probably the guy working out. So we're kind of having this discussion about somebody else. But let's say you and 4 other dudes in your crew, you're all lifting. You've been lifting for years. You know what you're doing. Maybe you got a straggler, right? Maybe you got a new member of the group, and well, he's not into the gym just yet, right? Odds are, I don't think he'd mind getting indoctrinated, but sometimes people need a little push, right? So I guess to loop that around to just the main thought that I was kind of getting into is, if you can, I think you should, right? If you can, if you've got the time, and let's be real, everybody's got time, if you're a Gary V, or you're spending 24 hours hustling, flipping Craigslist couches, and this, that, or the other. Maybe you're starting a windshield headlight cleaning company where it's just you, and you walk around your city and you hand out like 500 flyers onto people's cars. And then if you're doing something like that, that's very different, right? You're on a grind. But if you've got whatever shift, or you're doing, you're in school, you're in college, high school, whatever, maybe you're not doing a sport or something, you've got an hour and a half. The time is not an issue. And for those who say it is, I mean, there is real life, of course, right? If you got some chitlins and running around, that's certainly a responsibility I can't relate to just yet. So I'm not saying that it's just a guaranteed thing across the board, but for the most part, it can be done, right? There's guys who get after it, even if they're super busy. And my logic for saying that and kind of putting this importance is like, dude, you should really make time for this shit. It's not because it benefits me. It doesn't change my day in the slightest. I'm still going to get after it. I'm going to do all my regular stuff in and outside of the gym, and my regular kind of day by day, but what I'm getting at is I just know how good it feels, right? I mean, shit. If over the last 3 months, maybe I got maybe this bridge right above me, boom, collapsed, both legs snapped to bits. I don't even know. Knock on wood, I don't want to put that energy out there. But if I had, for whatever reason, some issue where I was out of the gym, I mean, shit, it would suck, And I guess that's kind of not exactly the right comparison, because that's an external issue, right? But let's imagine this. Imagine today's video was me saying, guys, I don't know, I'm just not feeling it right now. I'm kind of tired. It's summertime. I just want to chill. I don't want to. Why do I want to come into the gym and sweat, man? I just don't see the appeal anymore. Yeah, I'm done. I might come back, I might not, whatever. Yip-de-doo, something along those lines. I don't think I'd feel very good afterward. I don't think I would feel like whatever time I spent doing whatever else was extra super productive. Now that might just be because I'm so gym centric, definitely more than the average person. But even that's not the right comparison. So let's do a real, or let me try to get a more real hypothetical here, right? Let's take one dude, right? Person A, clone him, alternate universe. In one version, he's not in the gym. He's spending that extra hour and a half on his phone goofing. We're all doing that, just wasting time, not doing anything productive. Right? And then alternate universe version, he's getting some workouts in, right? He's getting after it. He's getting his cardio done. He's looking into calories and dieting and cardio and training and whatever, even if he's not trying to be a bodybuilder. I'm not saying this guy is like going down the freaking, at this point, it's kind of the beaten path of mass accrual to such an insane degree. But I think the benefits are just huge. Your cardio, just to speak physically, walking around in decent shape. Obviously I'm not the most athletic anymore. My athletic skill points are down now that I've been this big for this long. But just the feeling. I mean, I think people who aren't are missing out. I see this a lot. I mean, I travel way more than I used to, right? Different kind of expos or events and, all sorts of different stuff like that. And just walking around airports, I mean, I'm seeing people walking around with luggage, and it's not like this guy is totally out of shape or anything, but, he's struggling with a 40-pound overhead kind of deal. Like, you've got physical benefits of just being able to exert force in the world, but I think the mental benefits are way more beneficial. So that's to say that consistency, just having something in your day where if you work out for long enough, right, your reason for working out kind of changes. In the beginning, I mean, I feel like everybody's working out for something very specific, right? If you take somebody who's been working out for 6 months, ask them what their goal is, they're going to tell you. They know, at least I think they know. This is just my kind of thought there. But I want a 315 bench. I want to break a powerlifting world record for my weight class and my age. I'm getting on stage. I'm, this, that, or the other. But at a certain point, once you've worked out for long enough, hey man, what do you work out? It's just what I do, man. I don't know. It's like, why do you eat breakfast in the morning? Why do you do anything? It's like, it gets ingrained into your routine. And at least from what I can tell, I think it makes it easier to stick to other stuff, Plus, it is kind of this little zen sort of escape of just a little bit of time in your day where it's you time. But it's different than what we usually describe as you time. When somebody says, oh, I'm taking some me time, that's usually chilling. When people say that, that usually means I'm using a sick day as a chill day. Right? We're going shopping. We're just gonna sit outside. We're going to the pool. Nothing, just kind of pure leisure. Which nothing wrong with that, of course. But there's a certain difference when it's more of a effort-based me time, right? And it's not even a working on yourself kind of thing. I mean, I'm not coming to the gym today thinking, all right, man, I want to be more disciplined. I want to be more effective. I want to be more whatever. I'm thinking, dude, I want to get a pump. I don't want to really worry about anything else right now. Let's get after it, right? So, all of that combined, plus everything else that I kind of bring up that I might have forgotten about, that's kind of what you get, Not to mention walking around, looking at yourself in the mirror and thinking, and that alone, that is underappreciated, So if you're coming down from 300, if you're coming down from 400, it's certainly a long journey, but it is very doable. And that is something you're not going to forget. There's a couple guys there's one guy at one of these gyms, he showed me a photo, I think it was about 3 years ago or something. Pretty sure he said he was 550, and he's already down to 300. That is insane. That's fucking huge. Imagine throwing 200 pounds on your back and just walking around your daily life, right? So it's, even if you think you might be a little less fortunate in terms of your starting point, there's guys way worse than you in terms of where they started, and they made it happen, right? So what one man can do, another can do. Don't forget that shit. But now I'm kind of just amping myself up with this little ramble. Let's get some back started. Pull downs, rows, something in between, maybe some pullovers. We'll see what happens. But yeah, how about we just jump in there and start warming up? I'm getting excited. All right. So as requested, I get a couple comments where instead of just jumping straight into set number one, walk us through the warm-up, right? What are you doing before that hefty set of rows, or before that hefty set of, pull downs or whatever? And for back, really not all that much. Like, I can actually just sit here and do this for a few sets, or not a few, I wouldn't call this a set, but just for a few minutes, get things moving, and then I'm ready to kind of just jump on whatever movement number one ends up being. Because your back is pretty simple, and not only that, but your back is basically all tension. So I think it's a little easier to warm up, right? And what I mean by that is, well, I don't know, you tell me, right? Are you spending longer to warm up for chest or for back? Because for me, with chest, I'm not even jumping onto a bench until I've got my triceps going, rotator cuffs, front delt, rear delts, a little bit of back, not to mention just some, cable chest press to get my chest itself warm. Because, if I'm going to unload a 150-pound dumbbell, well, that's not just all pec tension, right? I got to actually support that weight through my wrists, my elbows, my shoulders, brace well with my back, and then get ready for it, right? Chest is very involved. But with back, I'm using straps and I'm trying to keep my forearms and my biceps out of it so they don't really need to be warmed up. And all I'm doing is this kind of, I know it looks like I'm pulling with my elbow, but really that's just an extension of where all these muscles in your back tie in up here at your upper arm, kind of right behind your tricep and your shoulder blade itself. So that's all I'm warming up. So if I sit here, a couple pull downs, more downward combined with maybe, drop it, do a few upper back focus rows. That's really all it takes, And then let's say I want to start with pull downs. I'll do a normal weight, 100 pounds for a couple reps, 150, 200, 250, get to a point where I feel like, okay, shit, this is getting pretty heavy. Then that'll be time for working set number 1. But before we do that, I gotta grab my freaking straps. But yeah, even right there, what would you say? That didn't look like much. That's pretty much all I end up doing, I'm not deadlifting. I'm not trying to lift 5 plates off the floor. So it's a little bit of a quicker warm up than you might expect. Because I don't want to tire myself out either, right? Why would you want to sit here and do a 15-minute sweaty warm up if you want to hit your, initial sets as hard as you can? I'm not saying as heavy as you can, but as hard as you can. So I'm going to grab a pull down. I might switch handles though. I don't know if I want to start with narrow grip rows or pull downs. Then we can get started. Okay. 2 more of those. That's fucking heavy. Okay. Oh, shit. All right. Yeah. 1 more. So those are gonna count as the heavy sets. Let's make this light. Emma. Okay. Whew. Oh, yeah. 2 more. 2. Okay. Okay. Whew. Holy shit. All right. I got an idea. So instead of 3 more lat movements and row movements, let me see how this feels right here. So this is kind of a half row, half pull down setup. It's the stretch of a pull down, but it's the squeeze of a row. Because it's gonna look like this. Reach forward and stretch, lean back and squeeze. And as a back finisher, highly recommended. All right. Okay. 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 That might be it. Let me see. All right. I have been made aware that the gym is dirty. It's getting a little dirty in here. I'm talking dust. The mirrors I thought were, when it's normally lit, you can't tell. But yeah, this whole thing needs a bit of a once over. I gotta get a vacuum back in here. But in terms of back, a little bit of a quicker pump, not as much volume as I was doing a little bit ago. Partially, now that I'm dieting, 12 full back sets kind of ends up feeling like a little much. I don't know. As long as you're pumped at the end of it, I think you're golden. But definitely don't neglect to hit your back in its entirety. Now, if you're more of a lat focused day guy and then a row focused day guy, I think that's legit. Or, oh my goodness, if you're thinking just hit the whole thing at once each back day, I think you're good there too. It's kind of hard to go wrong, but let's see how we're looking. So I feel relatively freaking pumped. Let's just make sure that feeling is translated into reality. There we go, perfect. Let's keep this thing from shaking. Yeah, solid. Whew. All right. That was a nasty Arnold pose right there at the end. But I think morning lifts may need to become the standard going forward as it gets hotter, because it's nice and cool overnight. So having the window open kind of cooled it down in here. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, next on the to-do list, clean this shit up Get some Windex or something. Honestly, I think I need a squeegee. I think that's the only way to get these mirrors like crystal clean. And then maybe get a big ass air purifier. I can see there's like dust floating around. I'm not doing anything in here that's inherently dusty. I don't know. Is that even a real way to describe it? Oh, either way, that's on the list. So nothing else to say, but let's get in the freaking car. All right, yeah, there we go. Back complete. 8:10, and that's including some sitting on my phone in the car for a couple of minutes time. So that's about right. That's about what I would freaking expect. Now to go home, splice this thing together, get my cardio done while it loads. Hell yeah. It's a good freaking Tuesday in my book. But this is something I was just kind of thinking that for some feels kind of hard to wrap their head around. You know, I'm talking about the guy who says, "Oh, bro, come on, you're dieting? It's Thanksgiving, dude." Or honestly, that's, some people have a reasonable take on that just because it's like a legit holiday. But it's like, "Oh, bro, come on, it's Friday. Come on, man, let loose. You dieted good all week," you know. And then so that's coming from somebody who just does not understand, but can't really like empathize with the idea that you're trying to get something, and it's a little bit tricky to do it. Like if you're trying to lose body fat, I mean, you're pretty strict, right? You're being legitimately cautious, or not cautious, but aware of like what you're eating. It's not mindless, you know. It takes effort, but you know, I think when you get to a certain level of proficiency with the gym, your workouts, your cardio, your everything, your training, it's kind of this twofold thing, because the longer you do it, the more you definitely realize, right? One lift is just a drop in the bucket. One day of dieting, one day of anything is just a little inkling of what adds up to the entirety, right? It's just one leaf in the tree. It's just one blade of grass in the field. So, in understanding that, you would know, all right, for one, these all add up, and it's going to take a while to get to where I want. So, right, what's the best way to stack it? Just be consistent, right? Plant a seed every day. That's your workout. That's your dieting. That's your cardio. Just, you know, just move a marble into the freaking fishbowl, and before you know it, it's going to be full. But right, once you kind of realize that, you would know every so often, if you miss a marble, you're not screwed, right? So in the beginning, when I was working out, I'm talking year 0 through 2, workout no matter what, no holds barred. I don't care if I got 1 hour of sleep or if I stayed up all night doing a freaking project that was, you know, late because I was lazy. The workout was going to happen. That was non-negotiable. You know, I mean, that was back, there's pictures of me at 160 drinking egg whites and eating fucking sardines, like a full bowl of like 4 tins and whatnot, you know, so it was serious from the get-go. But now, if you told me tomorrow, "Hey man, we've got this flight at this time and then we've got to go do this thing," you're not going to be able to work out. I'm not going to be destroyed. I would certainly prefer to do it because I know that that's, you know, aligns with what my goals are, but it's not going to totally kill me. So it's kind of this yin and yang of treating the gym as this very seriously important thing, right? Being really consistent in and outside of it. And my motivation for that is I like the feeling of feeling strong in the gym. So if I want to feel strong, I'm going to rest well, I'm going to stay hydrated, I'm going to eat in a proper way, and I'm not going to hurt myself training, which I've been pretty good at for the last however long. I don't want to break that streak of non-injury. And then I get to feel really cool when I train, make progress, right? Hell yeah. So that all adds up. That makes me want to get it. But there's also a little bit of leeway, which is not, you know, some people take that and they run with it. They take the idea that, man, you know what, they run with it. And a lot of times that's the guy who's actually got a pretty decent baseline, you know. It's like the high school dude who always had abs and then he started working out and gained 5 pounds of muscle. And then he just kind of stays where he's at because he's like, this is kind of cool. Just kind of maintaining that end state, which if you're legitimately content with where you're at, well then hell yeah. You've achieved lifting enlightenment. All you're doing now is maintaining and having a good time. But if you know you want a little bit more, right, you got to make sure that 99 out of your 100 marbles make it into the bowl. Now, if 1 or 2 fall out or you don't make it or whatever, right, not the end of the world. But that ratio is 100 to 1. That's 99%. So I'm not saying you have to be on it 99% of the time, but the closer the better. I never would have got lean enough to do any bodybuilding shows if I didn't stick to my diet for the large majority of the time, or if I didn't do my cardio consistently, or if I didn't train in my regular kind of weekly whatever to keep my strength and size up. It just it wouldn't happen. So that's very easy to say in hindsight because I've already done it. But if you know somebody who's kind of just the idea of locking in, the idea of going for it, or if it's you and you're thinking, all right, man, I don't know, I think I might want to get lean this year. I've been working out for 3 years. I've never really bulked, but I've never really cut either. But if I'm really thinking about it, I think I want to get cut. I think I want to see see some ab veins and see if I can get some more back striations and stuff. Right? If you really have that thought bubbling up in your mind, right? Shit, man, you got to make it happen. But I guess what I'm kind of getting at is, if you falter on your journey, the journey's not over. If anything, that just makes it more interesting, because if it was perfectly easy, everybody would do it and it wouldn't be cool. Like tying your shoes is cool when you're 4, but everybody can do that shit. It's just a part of everyday life, So it's the difficulty that makes it valuable. So the closer you can get to that 9 out of 10, that 80 or that 95 out of 100, 100 out of 100 days, consistently working on whatever you're trying to work on, you almost got no choice but to succeed. You've got no choice to make progress, because to an extent, simply showing up and doing it is what? 80% of the situation, right? I mean, who's going to build more muscle? The guy who shows up to the gym 6 days a week, or the guy who doesn't? Regardless of anything else, it's that 6-day-a-weeker, right? If I don't think I could ever be a total badass guitar player, but if I did guitar lessons every 2 days for, an hour each, I could probably figure it out, and then replace that with anything, right? Now, you can't do everything, but if you pick a thing, maybe don't pick too many things, because then you're just going to distract yourself. But if you can pick one thing that you're like, all right, you know what? I really want to be better than the average person at this. And not for the sake of being better than anybody else, but just for the sake of being proficient at it because it's cool. Odds are the only thing stopping you is you. So, just keep that in mind. So that's how I feel with the gym. That's my thing. I think everybody should work out. You, your mom, your grandma, maybe not your little nephew. He should just be doing sports or something. But I think everybody should be getting some weight exposure, no matter what. Doesn't have to be their thing, but I think everybody should do it. So if you're doing it and it's your thing, well, shit, even better, right? Before you know it, you're gonna be walking around and people are gonna hit you with hit you with anything. This is probably my favorite one. I was at the courthouse because I got a speeding ticket. I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure it was for like 36 and a 30. Like this was not egregious or anything, but it was just over the line. This was a while ago. This is back in the Camry. So I go to the courthouse to get this thing paid because I couldn't figure out how to do it online. And this is middle of winter. I don't remember. If you've been watching for a long time, you probably remember this story because I talked about it the day of. But I walk in, I'm wearing this huge winter jacket, just extra puffy. And the old dude who's running the security with the X-ray machine and everything, he's like, that jacket's a little big for you, huh? I mean, that thing's freaking huge. But then as soon as I take it off, the dude just goes, all right, I guess it fits. He said, I don't know, he said something like that. Like, as soon as you start getting hit with those, well, let's just say addicting might be a good description of the situation. But yeah, nothing else to say there. I'm definitely going to get some sun today. Fast forward a couple of weeks, I'm going to be a tan Sam, that's for sure. Tanner, at least. I was pretty pale this winter, except for those spray tans. But that's kind of, that doesn't freaking count. So I think that's all I got there. Today's June 18th. All right, keep it in mind. If you know your bro has been scanning a Gymshark Power shirt, or potentially a Chris Bumstead special unfinished hoodie like I'm rocking today, I'm talking site-wide 50% off plus 10% with Sam 10. So depending on what it is, I mean, it's not like everything's 50%. It's kind of a scale, like some stuff's 30, some stuff's 40, whatever. But if you get something 50% off plus a 10%, that adds up. So worth checking out, I think. Worth checking out. So link in the description. That might be the first time I've ever said link in the description. But either way, I'm out of here. So I'll see you tomorrow.